Without further ado, let's get started on it. For those of you who don't know, GQ is a Rolling Stone style magazine that does like profile pieces, interviews, things of that nature. And I was very excited at the opportunity and I took it. And I think that from what I understand, they were first and foremost predisposed with like the photo shoot, and then they slapped the interview onto it afterwards. And I think the photos came out really great. I am excited about that. So when they hit me up, I was like, yeah, I'm down to do it. The article came out perfectly fine. The photos came out great. I am very happy with the process. How dare you be in the tub with that Austin show? I know.
Hassan is on the cover of a magazine, and on that cover, he got in a tub. I could not be more devastated than what I feel at this moment. I have asked so nicely, get in the tub with me. Get in the tub. Why don't you get in the tub? Why don't you get in the tub? Can we get in the tub? I want to do the show that I worked so hard on. In the tub. In the tub with Austin show. And he says, no, I'm not getting in the tub. I don't like the way I look right now. I'm not getting in the tub. And now look at him. He's in the fucking tub with GQ. He's in the tub with GQ. Look, I don't even know. Like, to be honest, can I be so real? I mean this. I'm going to say this. I mean it. I think if he didn't in the tub with me, it would go bigger than this GQ ad. Oh, yeah. No. Yeah, you heard it right here, Hassan. In the tub with Austin show would go farther than this little GQ spot you did. Okay? I think it would. Yep. A lot of people in the chat are agreeing with me, too. Everybody thinks it's true.
Yeah, you need to pay me $20K to get me in the tub in the same way that I'm paying $20K to get in the tub to be in Gentleman's Quarterly. The article starts with Hassan Piker thinks America might be cooked. Martial law, canceled elections. Combative leftist streamer Hassan Piker predicts an ominous possible future for the U.S. He's fighting back the only way he knows how, by raging against Trump, Israel, Democrats, and the wannabe bad boys of the manosphere, in between beefs with his ops and gym sessions with his boys. Articles by Kieran Press Reynolds. Photography by Molly Madeline. Here's how Hassan Piker starts each day. Working out, shooting the shit. It's Monday, 8:30 a.m. and we're in the backyard of a house in West Hollywood where there's a makeshift private gym with benches, pull-down machines, and dumbbells galore. This is where the 34-year-old political influencer keeps his thirsted after body fit, joined by a few other neighborhood characters, including a guy who works on Pod Save America. His Bernie's beefcake, Kaya, tussles with a few other golden brown dogs. As Piker burns through a 70-minute workout, exhausting himself in the process, he strips his shirt off. An army of girls and gays, not to mention admiring looks maxers, would kill to be where I am now. I will say this dude's a great writer, okay? He's a little irreverent in his tone, and he does something in this article that is like a little bit of a no-no, but journalists do all the time because they're under no obligation to listen to whoever they're profiling. A lot of people will, I'll get to the parts where I think a lot of people will probably take issue with, but it's not a hit piece at all. You guys are so stupid for thinking that. Travis Kelce, step aside. There's a new 6'4" hunk in town that's also wet. Piker has no filter. That's one reason he's the hottest left-wing political commentator online. His management team consists of one single guy named David. So he basically has no leash and answers to no one. Shouts out David. Shouts out to David, my manager, who is constantly responding to these inbound requests. I feel like this is a funny mention because it kind of shows that there is no like massive PR team or whatever the fuck people speculate. And it's just like outlets reaching out. Every day, tens of thousands of people watch him dissect the news for 7 hours on Twitch. A typical stream involves him scrolling frenetically while clicking on links sent by fans in his chat, reacting to the latest viral clips and headlines, dishing with his viewers, and viciously sparring with haters. Piker's one of a new breed of streamers like Aiden Ross and Sneeko, who are shaping the worldview of kids who never watch MSNBC or read the New York Times. In this online mirror world, Piker is the himbo gateway drug, introducing a legion of kids to progressive ideals like Medicare for all. Now, the reason why a lot of people, I think, took offense to this is because of the mention of Aiden Ross and Sneeko, but those are, whether you recognize it or not, some of the most recognizable figures in the streaming space that engage with politics to normies. So that's the only reason why he's bringing that up, is because they are relevant names in this sphere, not because he's saying I'm ideologically aligned with Aiden Ross or Sneeko. And then there's Gaza. Young people across America are calling out what they see as Democratic politicians' complicity in a U.S.-backed war that is more and more widely being called a genocide as Palestinians starve. Republican support for the war has been taken as a given, although MAGA Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene has broken rank. Piker has opposed Israel's offensive since the start. It's the online arena where the most progressive but also most right-wing ideologies are taking hold now. In this unshackled world animated by constant beefs, Hassan is hated by both the right and center. He's a demigod and a demon, a crusader for good and a parasite on society, an empathetic hero and a so-called sympathizer. He claims the FBI might be surveilling him. Haters say they want him dead. As political experts sound alarms about authoritarianism, he's fighting back, one expletive and brain rot-filled live stream at a time. I mean, this guy's a great writer. I can't believe you guys thought this was a fucking hit piece. And also, this is one of the few instances in mainstream media where they are actively talking about my position on Gaza and my politics without like sheltering you from the truth. They're not just simply saying like Hassan is a Democrat and progressive and is, hot. They're not doing that. They just like, the dude straight up put a lot of the things I said in there. So I'll take it. After the gym sessions, Piker, Kai, and I load back in his black Mercedes-Benz and drive to his place, a large townhouse with a Suzuki motorcycle in the front and a slender pool in the backyard. Piker dips for a second to freshen up, leaving me to explore the house. Fan art litters the walls and TVs, hats, Trump has 2020, Jesus is my boss, Korea veteran, and Zinn containers are scattered around. A set of shelves contain a slew of books, including Noam Chomsky's Profit Over People, Neoliberalism and Global Order, Tony Tulatumute's Incel Epic Rejection, and numerous volumes of Marvel, Naruto, and Death Note manga and comics. He isn't beating the socialist who owns commodities allegations, but his house feels more like the product of a nerd who would write anime swords and free public transportation in his house does someone obsessed with luxury excess. We chill in his studio, which is even more chaotically cluttered than the rest of the house. There's a shelf stacked with rare World of Warcraft collectibles, a basketball, and a vinyl record of rapper Osama Sun's Jump Out. One corner contains a colossal Labubu doll encased in plastic. Behind it, there's a cutout of Bernie Sanders' classic diva pose at the inauguration and a poster of Barack Obama with Queen Elizabeth II. Cameras and mics flank an intricate recording setup that could pass for the bank of security devices at a Westfield mall. Piker, who's put on a black merch t-shirt for the Shrimmer Valkyrie, sits across from me and slurps an iced coffee. As we talk, I sense that Piker wanted to hold the interview here so he could keep an eye on his screens. His stream doesn't start for an hour, but the chat's buzzing with fans impatiently waiting for him to log on. That's how fucking unbearable you guys are, by the way. That like, you're so unbearable in the offline chat that a journalist peeks over at the active offline chat that and he sees all of you going, he's live, I'm baiting, he's live, I'm not baiting, he's actually live this time, why isn't he live yet? And he sees that and he goes, wow, these guys are fucking insane. He's remarkably energized for a guy who just finished a punishing workout and spent the previous day playing basketball with influencer Ludwig Ogren and other friends. His team lost the first game but came in clutch later on. I had to show these nerds what's up, he says with a laugh. By the way, for anyone looking to get buff and clutch games like him, here's Piker's supplement stack. 1 espresso shot, pre-workout, 4 creatine pills, fish oil, I don't eat seafood, zinc, ashwagandha, I don't know if it works, I just take it, minoxidil and finasteride. I am technically on HRT, hormone replacement therapy. I have DHT blockers for hair loss that I've been taking for years now at this point. Piker grew up in Turkey, developing his leftist worldview against the backdrop of Prime Minister and eventual President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's regime. What is this? Silent G, that's funny. He moved to America, rushed to frat at Rutgers University, impressed girls, and Nepo babied himself into working for his uncle, Cenk Uygur, who owned the left-wing news network The Young Turks. Piker went full-time streaming in 2020 and has since become the most popular political creator on Twitch with over 2.9 million followers. Bernie Sanders, AOC, and numerous other celebs have hopped on his stream. His work ethic is terrifying. In 2020, he claims he spent 42% of his time on camera, more than 10 hours a day. I'm an addict, he says. I've been an addict my whole life, so everything I do, I get addicted. Twitch streaming, working out, eating healthy. Piker describes his career as a protracted and so far largely unsuccessful effort to pull the Democrats to be more radical, to be actually progressive. This was my favorite paragraph in the entire article, by the way. While he's beloved by many leftists, he's often reviled by liberals, the centrists, whose views are largely reflected by the party leadership. You have a guy like me, name is Hassan, and I'm saying, no, you don't understand. Israel is still very much the responsible party for like 75 years of brutal occupation and apartheid. And people were like, oh, you're a terrorist. And that really hasn't gone away. Last year, Democrats first invited him to and then ejected him from the Democratic National Convention after he interviewed some delegates who were part of the undecided group protesting Israel's war in Gaza. I just eat it from both ends in that issue, he says. You're getting hate from the far right, and you're getting it from the liberals and the centrists and the institutions. So you just have nothing. You only have your community. You only have your grassroots backing. But in recent weeks, with videos of starving Palestinian children flooding social media, more Democrats are speaking out about the war. Piker won't give them credit for that just yet. I'm used to Democrats operating in this incredibly cynical way, he says. So I'm not surprised by this about face, if you can even call it that. Many people aren't even doing an about face. They're mostly just ass covering. Piker's also quick to call out his peers in the manosphere, saying that social media is putrefied into a hate-filled hellscape, worse than the subculture that gave rise to Gamergate, the coordinated misogynistic attack on women in the video game world that was an ignition point for the modern reactionary right. I call it vice signaling. These guys, whether they're real villains or not, are presenting themselves as bad people, and people like it. Piker says, nobody likes cancel culture, but goddamn, that shit was keeping motherfuckers in check. Of course, Piker himself is an edgelord too, eager to breach taboos just on behalf of progressivism. For example, he proposes Nuremberg-style trials for those in the media who he sees as taking part in a propaganda apparatus for the state. He says he told the Nelk boys straight up that they should be tried. But, Piker continues, there are far more consequential, far more noteworthy figures that deserve to be put on trial than like the Nelk boys. Specifically, he says, New York Times columnist Bret Stephens. Piker may be the product of an often irony-poisoned online space, but his defense of the Palestinians is pure and deeply felt, as it is among large swaths of Gen Z. Piker may see mainstream media as propaganda, but he blames prominent online figures for actively suppressing criticism. He says many creators keep silent to avoid retribution. They're fearful of the mass and hate raids they'll incur from some of the top content creators in the space right now. Piker is, for that reason, paranoid, and justifiably so. Sinking back into his chair, he says that years ago during a live stream, he was arrested, handcuffed, had a gun pulled on me, helicopters, he recalls. I heard something going on outside, and I was like, what the fuck's going on? Is dudes with AR-15s going, get the fuck out? Piker, was widely reported, was also recently detained by Border Patrol when he returned to America from France. Yeah, I mean, this was the first time I openly revealed. This was in many houses ago. So, I said it. I said it in the interview long time ago. Of course, it's a constant issue for streamers, and I felt comfortable revealing this because it's been a long ass time, and also on top of that, many other streamers have also personally revealed their experiences, but it's a super common one. And I'll tell you this much. When I was in that 2-bedroom, for example, when I was away from the camera for extended periods of time, sometimes I wasn't cooking. That's all I'm going to say. Obviously, you keep that shit a secret for obvious reasons. And of course, you don't, I've deliberately kept it a secret for a very long time. Anyway, but there's a reason why many streamers keep that stuff a secret. While he's unfiltered and earnest while streaming, Piker has managed to keep his off-stream activities secret, refusing to air out his private life with friends or paramours the way that many of his peers do. So when I first arrived at his home in the morning, I was surprised to find his mom, Ulker, an art scholar, just chilling in the living room. She complimented me on my shirt and asked what it referenced. When I told her Drain Gang, the experimental Swedish music collective, Piker went into hysterics. During our interview, I tried to squeeze out whatever intel I can find about Piker's romantic life, which is feverishly gossiped about on Reddit. I asked point blank if he's dating Valkyrie, the massively popular gaming streamer, and he looks freaked out. Oh, come on. Please don't put that in the article, Piker says. For obvious reasons, there is a lot of speculation on all of the female peers that I have in this space that I regularly have on stream, that people who have incredibly parasocial bonds with content creators routinely speculate on whether I'm romantically involved with them or not. Obviously, I don't want any sort of hate going their way. I don't want the psychopathic haters to fucking go after these people, which is precisely why I will always spike when asked questions like this and say, I keep my private life private. Everybody knows I'm dating Austin. But it's there's a reason for it. Like I don't entertain this stuff at all, and the reason is obvious, because people are incredibly fucking vicious. Oh, come on. Please don't put that in an article, Piker says. I just want to keep certain things private. I don't even want to fuel speculations. Think of me as an asexual being. He plans on settling down eventually. I mean, I literally told him. I told him straight up before the interview as well, I don't talk about my private life. If you ask me like even names or anything directly, I'm not going to answer it. And as he said, like, this is a common meta on Reddit, common speculation. But the reason why I will never confirm nor deny or just never confirm anything about my private life is because there are a lot of fucking active psychopaths who literally go after every person that's on the stream, but especially women, including Cutie Cinderella, who was in an open relationship with another content creator, Ludwig. People literally speculate on that and go after them and literally fucking constantly attack them viciously. Okay. I don't think that this is appropriate. I don't think this is, they're an open like as in, guys, shut the fuck up. I mean public, okay? I don't mean like literally in an open relationship. I mean public relationship. So, that's it. That's the reason. Like, it could have been any name that this person brought up. The answer would still be the same, obviously, because it's not. There's a lot of people that I collaborate with that get like unfairly maligned and unfairly attacked and unjustly persecuted. There's fucking stalkers out there, you know, and they do the same shit as I described here to all of the other people that are involved with me. Okay, anyone that I have on the stream, they're opening themselves up to this floodgate of fucking hatred. It's completely unacceptable, and especially because they are women, they get attacked even more aggressively. He plans on settling down eventually, shielding his family from the noise generated by his fame as much as possible. It's definitely something that I want. I would just keep it private. I would keep my child, potentially if I were to have one, offline. The desire to safeguard his inner sanctum makes sense, given how many influencer overlords have Piker in their crosshairs. Maybe his most deranged beef this year was with Ethan Klein, the popular content creator and former co-host of their old joint podcast, Leftovers. The feud started over Gaza. Both call it a genocide, but Klein has called Piker a sympathizer, and Piker in turn has called Klein racist. This is the most favorable interpretation of Ethan Klein's behavior, for the record. Some have accused Klein of having a psychosexual obsession with Piker. He talks about my body and the way I look a lot, Piker says. I don't know why. Maybe it's low-hanging fruit for him. He was always a funny guy. He was never a big looker or anything. It wasn't part of his brand. So I never thought he cared about that sort of thing. But maybe after he lost the weight, his personality changed a bit. I genuinely don't know. Last time I talked to Ethan, he was fat. I mean, he still had his issues, but at least he was seemingly more empathetic. Now, this comes across like I'm fat shaming him, but I was actually sectioning off like I wasn't like intentionally, I wasn't like trying to fat shame him. I was just saying like that was in my mind, that is a different person because of who he has become. Some people will say he was always that guy. I certainly was deluded and I was blind. Also, I didn't bring this up. He did, for the record. Like, the journalist did. I would not have brought up Ethan Klein on this profile if it were up to me. Anyway, the Klein fight reveals just how insular and incestuous the world of streaming is. These beefs and online personae are the substrate from which Piker, the streamer in person, springs. He texts with AOC sometimes, sure, but his close friends aren't campaign strategists and professional politicians. They're the creators he plays basketball with, like Ludwig, Buddha, and the video game speedrunners like Point Crow, and the influencers. By the way, I didn't say that these are like my best friends or whatever, okay? He asked me who I played basketball with, and I told him the names, like, and then he just wrote it as though we're like constantly fucking hanging out. Like, it's so funny. Point Crow's gonna be like, what the fuck? And the influencers goes podcast, Cutie Cinderella, Will Nev, and Austin show. You could visualize the streaming world as a series of lunch tables or loose clusters of collaborators like the AMP Collective and the FaZe Clan. This world of influencers is its own Hollywood with a distinct cast of A-listers and cult faves. Piker recently attended creator Tara Yummy's birthday party at the Roosevelt Hotel. A weird collision between old and new school celebrity where FaZe Adapt and Jason the Ween sidled up next to Miranda Sings and Love Island contestants. Indie Sleaze documenter Cobra Snake shot the photos. In LA, Piker likes to hang out with the roomies, a gamer lifestyle streamer house run by people like Valkyrie Fuseli and Tina Kitten. When he's in New York, he socializes with professional media world friends like Adam Friedland and the other cheeky stars of Leftist Pause, Chapo Trap House, and TrueAnon. Piker's thoughts are so frenetic, I can't help but probe him on anyone and everything, like whacking a piñata to see what falls out. He denigrates Asmongold and ContraPoints, praises I Show Speed and Joshua Citarella, says the fact that I watch the surrealist YouTuber JReg means I'm fried. I test him on a scatter spray of media heroes and villains. Curtis Yarvin and Peter Thiel, baby-brained, LARPing as educated people. Even William F. Buckley would make mincemeat of these guys. Red Scare's Dasha Nekrasova and Anna Kachian. I don't think about them at all, but they're annoying and kind of dumb. I don't think they like me too much because I'm progressive and not a shithead. Zoran Mamdani. Big Z's the man. He's great. He's going to implement woke Sharia in New York. Very excited about that. All the buildings out the face Mecca. That kind of good stuff. Drain Gang. I can't believe you told my mom that. One of the main things people criticize Piker for, besides the whole champagne socialist thing, which is overblown, is taking criticism poorly. Piker acknowledges while also criticizing the criticism of how he takes criticism. Still, he seems to realize he's made mistakes in the past. He cites Reactgate, the backlash he faced for putting content on stream while stepping away from the camera for extended periods of time. This is so crazy and so niche to talk about on fucking Gentleman's Quarterly, he says with a chuckle. I did not respond well to that at all. I apologized immediately and said I would never watch the critics' videos again, but then people kept hammering it over and over again. And after a while, I was just like, all right, well, fuck these people. Now he only watches YouTube videos from people he knows. As obnoxious as his methods are, Piker clearly has genuine convictions. Remember what the web was like back in the 2010s when YouTube was overrun with mini Ben Shapiro's and wrecking blue-haired SJW's compilations? Now there's a cluster of progressive influencers who Piker proudly calls Hasanabi heads. He co-signs Sean the Black, Chris Kunzler, Jam, and overzealots. He's also trying to mentor new establishment dem influencers like Dean Withers and Harry Sassan. I told Dean, well, I don't know why he added Harry Sassan in there. I did talk to Dean Withers in the past, though. I told Dean personally, 1, stop with this liberalism shit. Cut it out. Become more leftist. And 2, try to do things that are not just debate focused, he says. They're not listening to me, so who knows? I think there were more people that I added on there, like Michael from Pennsylvania as well, but I guess they didn't make the cut in print. Some would argue that if the Democrats were smart, they'd go all in on leftist populism and subsidize a Piker-led creator boot camp to help beat back Trump 2.0. But Piker has no faith in liberal politicians. He thinks Kamala Harris, who currently leads in many polls about prospective Democratic presidential candidates, has no shot in 2028. He's not even convinced there will be elections in 2028. I mean, it's moving in that direction pretty hard. All it takes is one big event for Donald Trump, who's been salivating at this, to be like, it's martial law time, Piker says. First, they will take out or erode some of these constitutional protections, whether it be due process, birthright, citizenship, and the First Amendment. Then they'll rebuild the legal system to their advantage in a way that suits their white nativist agenda. Once again, the reason why I appreciate this article is because while it ends up humanizing me and showing me in maybe even more vulnerable settings, it also simultaneously does a decent job of showcasing my perspective. See, I knew I had a good reason to hate this article. In all seriousness, I didn't like it from the perspective of a boomer who used GQ. It seems like they didn't respect you, violated journalistic norms about background conversations, but it runs down the real work you do. Yeah, I don't care. And I don't think this is written from the point of like not respecting me. I think this is supposed to be irreverent. And therefore, the tone of it comes across as a lack of respect. But I have plenty of articles in serious outlets that have been written in ways where it shows a lot of respect. And this is supposed to be it's GQ. Like the tone of it is supposed to be kind of snarky and kind of silly. And I think it reads very well in that regard, especially because first and foremost, the thing I care about is that they very clearly define my worldview, and it is in good faith. It's not in bad faith at all. As he prepares to start up a stream for the day, Piker says, I wonder what this is doing to my brain. This is a gesture at the many vectors of anguish and evil in his life. The always-on work schedule, the paranoia he feels about his private life being overrun, the volume of vitriol he receives daily from right-wingers demanding that the government arrest me because I'm a and that Twitch banned me. I wonder to myself if his fitness and diet regimen are attempts to counterbalance the stress he puts on himself. The answer is yes, by the way. Keeps me grounded. My family and my loved ones, and also my rigid schedule that I abide by is precisely what keeps me grounded no matter what. That's why I've been able to maintain a positive mental health, positive mental space in spite of being able to do this for 8 fucking hours a day. It's crazy. He said in the past that he eats exactly 1.1 pounds of roasted chicken breast with low-carb pita, mezza, and sauces for lunch every day. Still, he thinks the Make America Healthy Again movement is full of fucking charlatans. Medicare for all, TRT for all, Ozempic for all, HRT for all. That's my argument. Piker can't get lost in thought for long. Our interview made him late to start streaming. His viewers are angsty as fuck. Piker pops us in and attempts to film an Instagram video that announced the stream. Fuck, he roars after the app shuts off midway. A viewer sends him a link that turns out to be a Grindr audio clip. That viewer is Nandre. Fuck you, Nandre. You made it to the goddamn Gentleman's Quarterly article because of your goddamn fucking sane clip. Soon, I get up and leave. I walk out, and Piker is left alone, rambling at 3 screens. And that's it. That's the article. And they ended it with a beautiful photo of Kaya laying on my lap when I'm on the couch laying down.